Hey guys, Ashen here, and welcome to this Elden Ring video on how to build builds. Today we are looking at faith builds. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, and join and follow on Discord, Twitch, and TikTok. Links in the description. Now, as you all know, there are countless builds out there all pre-made and ready for us to respec to, but with constant patches and things being nerfed and buffed, I wanted to learn how to create a base build template for any of the major stats. So, for the base template of any faith build, we are going to cover the following: stat goals, affinities, recommended incantations, recommended seals, recommended weapons, ashes of war, showcasing all the above in action, and finally the pros and cons of a faith build. Okay, first up the stats, and here's my spread. Vigor 60, Strength 27, Dexterity 24, Faith 80, and Arcane 15. So with the stat spread, we have high health, we have access to a huge range of awesome weapons, and I've put a few points in Arcane for an early game weapon which we can pick up and help us get going until we have access to the later game gear. Again, mind and endurance all depends on how you're playing, how much FP you need to use, and how much stamina you need. Okay, affinities. With the affinities, we are looking at two: Sacred and Flame Art. I would more often than not choose to stick with Flame Art, simply because so many enemies resist holy damage, especially towards the end of the game. This makes Sacred affinity weapons a lot more situational. Alrighty, let's look at the recommended incantations, and yes, there are loads of them as well, but let's look at a few honourable mentions first. First up, we have Lightning Spear. This has been buffed since patch 107, and it boasts favourable FP to damage ratio. Next is Honed Bolt, which deals high damage per second with strong tracking. Then, Flame of Frenzy, which is great for staggering enemies. Just remember, its madness ailment only works on tarnished enemies. When it comes to larger enemies, Pest's Threads and Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike deal incredible damage. At close range, Catch Fire is great. It has a fast cast speed, low FP cost, and excellent damage. In opposition to this then, Frenzied Burst. This is one of the longest ranged spells in the game. When fully charged, it can hit hard without you even having to be close to the enemy. And of course, do not forget your buffs. The Golden Vow incantation and Flame Grant Me Strength are obviously a big part of faith builds. Golden Vow gives us 15% damage boost and 10% damage negation for 80 seconds, and Flame Grant Me Strength gives us 20% physical and fire damage boost for 30 seconds. And not forgetting the rest of the incantations worth mentioning: Blessing of the Erdtree, Erdtree Heal, Fortisax's Lightning Spear, Flame Fall Upon Them, Burn O Flame, Black Flame Ritual, Bestial Swing, Unendurable Frenzy, and Exeek's Decay. Next up, seals. In regards to the seals, again, it all really depends on the type of incantations you are using, but there are three I like to stick with for the majority of Godslayer, Lightning, and Fire incantations. They are the Godslayer seal, then for higher stats the Erdtree seal, and finally the Gravelstone seal. Recommended weapons. Okay, so there are a shared load of weapons to choose from, and this is what I love about faith builds. Now, some are quite mid to late game in their availability, but to get you started, why not just pick up the Winged Scythe? It's in the Tombsward Ruins on the Weeping Peninsula, and it's a nice starter weapon to help you get to the following: Coated Sword, Blasphemous Blade, Sacred Relic Sword, Magma Blade, Envoy's Horn, Envoy's Longhorn, Siluria's Tree, Halo Scythe, Cypher Patter, Inseparable Sword, Golden Order Greatsword, Godslayer's Greatsword, Magma Worm's Scale Sword, Marika's Hammer, Inquisitor's Girandole, and Vike's Warspear. Right, before we showcase some loadouts, melting bosses, let's quickly look at the Ashes of War worth mentioning: Black Flame Tornado, Golden Land, Prayerful Strike, and Prelate's Charge. Okay, all of this sounds great, but now it's time to melt some bosses. Okay, so with this loadout, I'm using the Blasphemous Blade, which has the Taker's Flame skill. This heals us when we damage enemies with it, and the blade itself, just being equipped, will heal us when enemies die. So this is part of my fire loadout. I am playing around with talismans which boost fire, skills and incantations, and I am boosting fire with Flame Shrouded Cracktee in the Physic, and of course I am using Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. My lightning loadout then is pretty similar. I am using the incantation Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike, and using talismans to buff lightning and incantations. I have swapped out the fire tier in the physic for the lightning one, and of course, once again, Golden Vow and Flame grant me strength. Not bad at all. And finally then, the pros and cons of Faith builds. The pros are super strong buffs, and access to several really powerful weapons and incantations. The cons are, most enemies resist holy damage, if that's the path you're intending on going down. So there you have it guys, my how to build a build Faith guide. Let me know what you're doing with Faith builds in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!